I'm outside St. James Palace today, built in 1536, something like that. And Tudor times, Henry VIII built it. Famously, it's the home of Princess Anne now and Princess Beatrice. And it was where George IV, Georgie Porgy, had his wedding. And he got so drunk and he hated his bride, Queen Caroline, so much because he said she smelled. But there you go. And but a little bit of real estate back here, just a tiny few meters and stacks of history crammed in here. We're just going to pass by quickly Berry Brothers shop, wine shop here. And we'll come back here in a minute because right next to it and just ahead of us, you'll see a shop with pink flowers outside. And this is Locke and Company. Locke and Company, ancient milliners, very, very old shop. Locke & Co. opened in 1676, and it's the 34th oldest family-run business in the world. And Locke & Co. is famously where the Derby hat, the Derby bowler, the bowler hat was invented. Berry Brothers was founded about 20 years after Locke & Co., so in about 1690s. And it's a wine shop and very well known in the area because over top of the wine shop, of the frontage itself, you'll see 2 floors up above. And this used to be the residence of the Texas Embassy. When Texas was an independent country in the 19th century, this is where Texas had its embassy, above Berry Brothers and Rudd, the famous wine shop in St. James. Now, when Texas closed the embassy, when they joined the Union, the United States, they didn't pay their bill. They had left an outstanding bill for their rent. And it wasn't until about 100 years later that contingency came back from Texas and paid the bill. And here you can see the plaque outside that commemorates Texas libation, which was the embassy back then. And we're going to head down Pickering Place now. And Pickering Place has got mock Tudor panels outside. These aren't Tudor from 1500s. These are only about 200 years old, they think. But still very impressive wooden paneling going down into what is Pickering Place and the smallest London square that's open to the public. So this is the smallest square in London, and you can see the cottages all around, the buildings all around. And underneath of here, you can see the barrels, and because of Berry Brothers, have their cellars under here. And the cellars are actually built into natural caves that are underneath this spot. And it's quite hard to get into. It's not something you can get into easily. And you can see, and here you can see Shackleton's. We talked about Shackleton a few weeks ago, the polar explorer. You can see his sister standing by the sundial at Bach. She lived here, as well did Palmerston. And you can see the statue there of Palmerston, the British, Prime Minister. The Prime Minister. Graham Greene, the artist the author who wrote Wind in the Willows, also lived here, and he described the scene outside the window in one of his novels, complete with the sundial. Later on, this area became a huge gambling den, and 4 or 5 gambling houses back here, and it was called the Hells because so many people, their livelihoods were lost back here. It also became metalworking areas as well later on. But because it was so cut off from the road outside and so tucked away back here, it was a famous place for duels to be fought between aggrieved parties. And it's said that the last duel in London took place here. But there's about 4 places in London that make that claim, but certainly this is one of them. One of the places where many duels were fought, and possibly the last duel in London was fought. So there we are. We are in Pickering Place,